Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SR English Conversation Channel. We're so happy you're here, whether you're studying English in the morning, during your lunch break, or late at night under a blanket pretending to sleep.
Wait, how did you know?
I know our audience.
Fair enough.
If you enjoy learning English through conversations and stories, make sure you subscribe and join us.
And if you're ready, let's begin today's story.
Story Section 1. The Old Notebook. Our story begins with a young man named Daniel. Daniel was 24 years old. He lived in a small apartment in a busy city. Every morning, he woke up at 6:30. He took a quick shower, drank coffee, and rushed to work. Every day felt the same.
Oh no, that already sounds like Monday.
Not just Monday. Every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, repeat.
Poor Daniel.
One rainy evening, Daniel came home tired. Very tired. He dropped his bag on the floor, took off his shoes, and sat on his couch. Then he noticed something. A small cardboard box near his bookshelf.
Interesting. Where did the box come from?
Good question. Daniel didn't know. At first, he thought it belonged to his roommate, but then he remembered. His roommate moved out 3 months ago.
Okay, now we're getting mysterious. I like it.
Daniel opened the box. Inside, he found old papers, some photographs, and a notebook. The notebook looked old. Very old. The cover was brown. The corners were damaged. The pages had turned yellow.
I already know. Something important is inside. Whenever a story has an old notebook, something important is inside.
You're probably right. Daniel opened the first page. Written in blue ink were these words. To whoever finds this notebook, use your days carefully.
Ooh, that sounds serious.
Daniel laughed. He thought it was strange, but he kept reading. The next page contained a list. Not a shopping list, not a to-do list, a life list. Things the writer wanted to do before getting old. Travel to another country, learn a new language, start a business, help 100 people, write a book, learn to play piano.
Wow, that's actually inspiring.
Daniel thought so too. And maybe some viewers needed to hear that today. The biggest mistake isn't failing. The biggest mistake is forgetting to try.
Speaking practice moment.
Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I have a dream. Pause.
Again. I have a dream. Pause.
Now say, I don't want to give up. Pause.
One more time. I don't want to give up. Pause.
Great job. Keep speaking. Even if your pronunciation isn't perfect, progress is more important than perfection.
Can we repeat that? Because I need it too.
Absolutely. Progress is more important than perfection. Story Section 2. The name inside. Daniel continued reading. Many pages contained personal notes, thoughts, ideas, dreams, and funny little observations about life. Then he found a name. Michael Carter.
So Michael owned the notebook.
Yes, and according to the notebook, Michael wrote it almost 20 years earlier.
20 years? Wow.
Daniel became curious. What happened to Michael? Did he achieve his dreams? Did he travel? Did he write a book? Did he learn another language?
I need answers.
So did Daniel. The next day, instead of going straight home after work, he searched online. After some time, he found someone named Michael Carter. Same city, similar age. It had to be him.
Detective Daniel. I like this guy.
Daniel hesitated. Should he contact a complete stranger? Would that be weird?
Honestly, a little.
A little, but curiosity won. So Daniel sent a message. Hello, I think I found something that belongs to you.
And then
Nothing. For 3 days, no reply.
classic.
Daniel thought maybe he sent it to the wrong person. Maybe Michael wasn't interested. Maybe the notebook would remain a mystery forever. Then, suddenly, on the fourth day, a reply arrived. Just 5 words. "You found my notebook?"
Oh, now I'm interested.
Daniel smiled. The mystery was about to continue.
Mini English lesson.
Let's learn a useful phrase. To hesitate. To hesitate means to pause before making a decision. Example, I hesitated before speaking.
Let's try another one. She hesitated before opening the door.
Perfect. Now you try. Create your own sentence. Take a moment. Think about it. That's how learning becomes real. Story section 3. The coffee shop meeting. A week later, Daniel and Michael met at a small coffee shop. Michael was in his 40s. Friendly face, warm smile, a little gray hair.
The gray hair always arrives. Nobody invites it. It just shows up.
True. Michael looked at the notebook for a long time. He didn't speak. He simply turned the pages slowly, as if he were meeting an old friend.
That's actually kind of emotional.
Daniel thought so too. And maybe some viewers needed to hear that today. The biggest mistake isn't failing. The biggest mistake is forgetting to try.
Speaking practice moment.
Repeat after me. I will keep trying. Pause.
Again, I will keep trying. Pause.
One more. I can improve every day.
Excellent. You sound great. Even if you're speaking quietly, even if you're speaking alone, keep going. That's how confidence grows.
Cliffhanger. But the most surprising part of Michael's story was still coming, because Michael revealed one dream from the notebook that completely changed his life.
Wait, what was the dream?
We'll find out in the next section, and trust me, it's not what Daniel expected. Story section 4. The dream that changed everything.
Okay, Emily, you can't leave us hanging like that. What was the dream?
I know. Let's continue. Daniel leaned forward in his chair. Even the coffee between them was getting cold. He wanted to know, what dream had changed Michael's life? Michael turned a few pages in the notebook. Then he pointed to one sentence. It was written in large letters. Help 100 people.
Wait, that's the dream? Not becoming rich, not becoming famous, not buying a huge house?
No, just 4 simple words. Help 100 people.
Interesting. And honestly, that's not what I expected.
Neither did Daniel. He asked Michael, "So, did you help 100 people?" Michael smiled. Then he said, "No."
Oh, well, that was a short story. Goodbye, everyone.
Wait, there's more. Michael continued, "I didn't help 100 people. I helped more than 3,000.
3,000? Okay, now I'm impressed.
Daniel was shocked too. Michael explained. Years ago, he started teaching free weekend classes. Nothing special, just basic skills. Communication, confidence, job interview practice, life advice, simple things. At first, only 5 people came, then 10, then 20, then 50. Years passed. More people joined. Many students found better jobs. Many gained confidence. Many changed their lives.
That's amazing. Sometimes small actions create huge results.
Exactly. Michael said something else that Daniel wrote down immediately. He said, "When you focus only on yourself, life feels small. When you help others, life becomes bigger."
Wow, this coffee shop conversation is getting deep. I wasn't prepared for this.
Neither was Daniel. He came to return a notebook. Instead, he received a life lesson.
Vocabulary break.
Let's learn a useful word. The word is confidence. Confidence means believing in yourself, believing you can do something. For example, I have confidence when I speak English.
Or, my confidence improves every day.
Great example. Now repeat after me. Confidence. Pause. Again, confidence. Pause. Wonderful.
Story section 5.
Daniel starts thinking.
After the meeting ended, Daniel walked home slowly. Usually he listened to music. Usually he checked social media. Usually he rushed. But not that night. That night he was thinking deeply.
Oof, that's dangerous. Whenever I think deeply after 10 p.m., I suddenly want to change my entire life.
A lot of people do. Daniel kept thinking about the notebook, the dreams, the goals, the years that had passed. Then he asked himself a difficult question. What am I doing with my life?
Oof, that's a big question.
A very big question, and sometimes uncomfortable, but important. Daniel realized something. He wasn't unhappy. His job was okay. His apartment was okay. His life was okay. But everything was just okay.
And okay isn't always bad, but sometimes okay isn't enough.
Exactly. He remembered a dream he once had. When he was younger, he loved writing stories. He wrote every day. Characters, adventures, ideas, funny conversations. He loved it. Then life became busy. Work became busy. Responsibilities appeared. And little by little, he stopped writing.
That's sad, but also very real. A lot of people have abandoned dreams.
Yes, maybe some viewers have one too. A dream they haven't thought about in years. A hobby they once loved. A goal they once believed in.
Speaking practice.
Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I still have time. Pause.
Again, I still have time. Pause.
One more. I can start again. Pause.
That's a powerful sentence. I can start again.
Mini story inside the story. A few days later, Daniel bought a notebook. Not an expensive notebook, just a simple one. A blank notebook.
Because every great adventure starts with office supplies.
Maybe. On the first page, he wrote, things I want to do. Then he started making a list. Write one short story. Exercise 3 times a week. Read 12 books this year. Call family more often. Learn something new. Travel somewhere he had never been.
Simple goals, but meaningful.
Exactly. Not impossible goals. Not superhero goals. Just real goals. Goals he could actually achieve. That made a huge difference.
English lesson. Useful phrase.
Today's useful phrase is little by little. It means slowly over time. Example, my English improves little by little.
Another example, I saved money little by little.
Great. Now repeat. Little by little. Pause. Again. Little by little. Pause. Excellent.
Story section 6. The first story.
One Saturday morning, Daniel sat at a small desk near his window. His notebook was open, a cup of coffee sat beside him, and he stared at the blank page.
Ah yes, the blank page. One of humanity's greatest enemies.
Very true. For 10 minutes, he wrote nothing. For 20 minutes, still nothing. For 30 minutes, he almost quit.
That's exactly how I exercise. I prepare to exercise for 30 minutes, then I celebrate because preparation is hard work.
Paul, that's not how exercise works.
I know, unfortunately.
Daniel almost gave up. Then he remembered something Michael said. The biggest mistake isn't failing. The biggest mistake is forgetting to try. So he started writing. One sentence, then another, then another. The writing wasn't perfect. The grammar wasn't perfect. The story wasn't perfect, but it existed.
And that's better than a perfect story that never gets written.
Exactly. By lunchtime, Daniel had finished his first short story. It wasn't amazing, but he felt proud because he had started. Life lesson moment. Sometimes success doesn't begin with confidence. Sometimes confidence begins with action.
That's worth repeating.
Absolutely. Sometimes success doesn't begin with confidence. Sometimes confidence begins with action. You don't wait until you're confident. You start. and confidence grows later.
I wish somebody had told me that years ago.
Many people need that reminder, especially language learners. A lot of learners think, I'll speak English when I'm confident, but confidence often comes after speaking, not before.
Exactly. The first conversation feels scary. The second feels better. The 10th feels normal. The 100th feels easy.
Repeat after me. Let's practice. Repeat. I am learning. Pause.
Again, I am improving. Pause.
One more. I am getting better every day. Pause.
Fantastic. Keep going. Your future self will thank you.
Story Section 7. An unexpected message. 3 months passed. Daniel continued writing, not every day, not perfectly, but consistently, little by little. One evening, he received a message online. It came from a stranger. The message said, I read your story.
Uh-oh, that's either very good or very bad.
Daniel thought the same thing. He opened the message nervously. The stranger continued, I read your story. Your story helped me during a difficult week. Thank you.
Wow, that's powerful.
Daniel stared at the screen. He smiled. Then he remembered Michael, the notebook, the dream, the lesson, helping people. Maybe he wasn't helping thousands, not yet, but he helped one person. And sometimes one person is enough to start.
Cliffhanger for part 3.
But Daniel's journey wasn't over, because a few months later, he discovered something hidden inside the notebook, something Michael had never noticed.
Wait, there was still something hidden?
Yes, and what Daniel found would lead him to a decision that changed the direction of his future.
Okay, now I really need part 3.
And that's exactly where we'll continue. Okay, Emily, I'm ready. Tell me about the hidden discovery. What did Daniel find? A treasure map? A secret code? Instructions for finding buried gold? Not exactly, but it was still surprising. One rainy afternoon, Daniel decided to read the notebook again. By now, it had become special to him. Whenever he felt lost or unmotivated, he opened it. It reminded him to keep moving forward. Like a personal coach, except cheaper. Exactly. As he carefully turned the pages, something slipped out, a small envelope, thin, old, and hidden inside the back cover. Wait, how had nobody noticed it before? The envelope blended into the notebook. The paper had aged. The color matched the cover. It was easy to miss. Even Michael had never seen it. Now I'm curious. What's inside? Daniel opened it carefully. Inside was a folded letter. The handwriting looked familiar. It was Michael's. But the letter was different. This wasn't a note for other people. This was a letter written to his future self. Oh, wow. That's actually fascinating. The first line said, Dear future Michael, I hope you haven't forgotten who you wanted to become. That's powerful already. Daniel continued reading. The younger Michael describes his dreams, his fears, his hopes, his plans, and one sentence stood out. It said, If you are reading this years from now, I hope you were brave. Vocabulary break. Let's learn a useful word. The word is brave. Brave means showing courage, doing something even when you're afraid. Example, she was brave enough to speak English. Or, he was brave enough to try again. Perfect. Now repeat after me. Brave. Again, brave. Excellent. Story Section 9, a conversation that changed everything. Daniel couldn't stop thinking about the letter. The next day, he called Michael. They met at the same coffee shop, the same table, the same warm atmosphere. But this time, Daniel brought the envelope. And Michael had no idea? None. When Daniel handed him the letter, Michael looked confused. Then he opened it. As he read, his expression changed. First, surprise, then curiosity, then silence. A long silence. Uh-oh, that's emotional silence. Yes, the emotional kind. The kind where someone is remembering years of their life. The kind where someone realizes how much time has passed. Finally, Michael looked up and smiled. A small smile, but a meaningful one. He said, "I forgot this letter existed." That's understandable. It was hidden for years. Then he laughed and said something interesting. "You know what's funny?" Daniel asked. "What?" Michael replied, "When I wrote this, I thought successful people were fearless." A lot of people think that. Exactly. But then Michael continued, "Now I know something different. Successful people feel fear too. They simply move forward anyway." That's such an important lesson because many people wait until fear disappears, but sometimes it never does. Exactly. Fear isn't always the enemy. Sometimes fear is just a sign that something matters. Speaking practice. Let's practice. Repeat after me. I can be brave. Again, I can be brave. One more. I can move forward. Great job. Keep speaking clearly and slowly. Confidence grows through practice. Story section 11, Daniel's Big Decision. That evening, Daniel returned home, but his mind was racing. He kept thinking about bravery, about dreams, about time, about the future. Then he remembered something. Months earlier, he had seen an online writing competition. At the time, he ignored it. He didn't feel ready. Classic, the famous phrase, "I'm not ready yet." Exactly. Many dreams disappear because of those 4 words, "I'm not ready yet." I think I've said that sentence about 1,000 times. Most people have, but this time Daniel decided something. He opened his laptop, found the competition website, and clicked apply. Just like that? Not exactly. His hands were shaking, his heart was beating fast. He doubted himself. He worried. He overthought everything. Then he submitted his story anyway. Now that's bravery. Not the movie kind, the real life kind. Exactly. Real bravery often looks ordinary. Nobody sees it, nobody applauds, nobody notices, but inside it feels huge. English lesson. Useful expression. Today's expression is take a chance. To take a chance means to try something uncertain. Example, I decided to take a chance and apply. Another example, she took a chance and started her business. Perfect. Now repeat. Take a chance. Again, take a chance. Excellent. Mini story from Paul. Can I tell a quick story? Of course. A few years ago, I wanted to improve my English speaking. I watched videos, read books, learned vocabulary, but I never actually spoke. One day, I joined an online conversation group. I was terrified. My hands were sweating. My brain forgot half the English words I knew. Very relatable. For the first 5 minutes, I sounded like a robot with low battery. But after a while, I relaxed. Then I spoke more. Then more. And eventually, I realized something. Nobody expected perfection. They just wanted conversation. That's such a valuable lesson. Many learners think they need perfect English before speaking, but speaking is how improvement happens. Story section 12, the email. Don't stop now. What did the email say? The email said, "Congratulations." Yes! Daniel's story had been selected, not first place, not second place, but selected among hundreds of entries. That's still amazing. Exactly. Daniel smiled, then laughed, then almost cried, not because he had become famous, not because he had won a fortune, but because he finally proved to himself he was capable, he could do difficult things, he could start again. That's beautiful. And perhaps the most important victory wasn't the result. The most important victory was the fact that he tried. Cliffhanger for part 4. But Daniel's biggest challenge was still ahead, because after his story was published, he received an invitation, an opportunity, a chance he had dreamed about for years. And let me guess, it scared him. Very much. In fact, it was the most frightening opportunity of his life. Okay, now I absolutely need part 4. And that's where we'll continue next.
Story section 13, The Invitation. All right, Emily. Last time you left us with a huge cliffhanger. Daniel received an invitation. What happened? A few days after his story was selected, Daniel received another email. At first, he thought it was just a newsletter, something unimportant. But when he opened it, his eyes widened. The email came from the organizers of the competition. They wanted to invite him to a special event. That sounds exciting. It was. Several selected writers would attend. They would meet readers, share experiences, and talk about their writing journey. That's amazing. So Daniel said yes immediately, right? No. Of course not. That would make life too easy. Exactly. The problem wasn't writing. The problem was speaking. The event included a short presentation. Each writer would stand in front of an audience and tell their story. Oh, no. Public speaking, one of humanity's greatest fears, right after spiders and accidentally sending a message to the wrong person. Very true. Daniel stared at the invitation. Part of him felt excited. Another part felt terrified. His mind immediately filled with negative thoughts. What if I forget my words? What if people laugh? What if I make mistakes? What if I embarrass myself? Ah, yes, the famous what-if machine. Our brains are very creative when it comes to worry. Exactly. Sometimes we imagine disasters that never happen. English lesson, useful phrase. Today's phrase is what if. We use it when imagining possibilities. Example, what if I succeed? Or what if I fail? Interesting. Most people use what if for negative situations, but we can use it positively too. Absolutely. Now repeat after me. What if I succeed? Pause. Again. What if I succeed? Pause. Excellent. Story section 14. A visit to Michael. The next weekend, Daniel visited Michael. By now, they had become good friends. They met regularly, shared ideas, shared stories, shared lessons. The notebook really changed both of their lives. It did. Daniel showed Michael the invitation. Michael smiled immediately. Then he noticed Daniel's nervous expression. He asked, "What's wrong?" Daniel replied, "I don't know if I can do this." I think many viewers understand that feeling. Definitely. Michael nodded. Then he told Daniel a story. Years earlier, when he started teaching weekend classes, he was terrified. The night before his first class, he barely slept. His stomach hurt, his hands shook, his confidence disappeared. Wait, even Michael felt scared? Very scared. Then Michael said something important. He said, "Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action despite fear." That's powerful. Daniel listened carefully. Michael continued, "If you're waiting for fear to disappear, you may wait forever. But if you move forward anyway, your world gets bigger." Speaking practice. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I can do hard things. Pause. Again. I can do hard things. Pause. One more time. I can do hard things. Pause. I like that sentence. Simple, strong, easy to remember. Story section 15. Preparation. After their conversation, Daniel made a decision. He accepted the invitation. Let's go! But accepting was the easy part. Now he had to prepare. Every evening after work, he practiced. He stood in front of a mirror. He spoke to an empty room. He recorded himself, then listened, then improved, then practiced again. That sounds uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. At first, he hated hearing his own voice. Everyone hates hearing their own voice. You hear a recording and think, who is that person? Exactly. But Daniel kept practicing. Little by little, he improved. His speech became clearer, his confidence grew, his message became stronger. That's an important lesson for English learners. Improvement comes from repetition, not magic, not luck, practice. Absolutely. Mini English lesson. Useful word. Today's word is practice. Practice means doing something repeatedly to improve. Example, I practice English every day. Or, the more you practice, the better you become. Excellent. Now repeat, practice. Pause. Again, practice. Pause. Wonderful. Story section 16. The big day. Finally, the event arrived. Daniel woke up early, very early, earlier than usual. In fact, he woke up before his alarm. That's how you know something is important. Exactly. He got dressed, checked his notes, checked them again, then checked them one more time. A classic strategy. Check everything 17 times. Pretty much. When he arrived, he saw dozens of people, readers, writers, organizers, guests. The room buzzed with conversation. People smiled, people laughed, people shared ideas. But Daniel barely noticed. His attention was focused on one thing, the stage. Uh-oh, the stage looked scary, didn't it? Very scary, at least to him. The microphone stood in the center, waiting, like a movie villain. Exactly. Then an organizer approached. She smiled and said, "You're speaking in 15 minutes." 15 minutes? My heart would leave my body. Daniel felt the same way. His heart raced, his palms became sweaty, his mind filled with doubts. Then he remembered the notebook, the letter, Michael, the story, the lessons, and one sentence returned to him. The biggest mistake isn't failing. The biggest mistake is forgetting to try. Repeat after me. I will try. Pause. Again. I will try. Pause. One more time. I will try. Pause. Sometimes those 3 words are enough. Story section 17. The speech. Then his name was called. The moment had arrived. Daniel walked toward the stage, step by step. The audience looked at him, hundreds of eyes, watching, waiting, listening. No pressure at all. None whatsoever. Daniel reached the microphone. For a moment, he froze. The room felt silent, very silent. Then he took a deep breath and began. At first, his voice shook, just a little, but he kept going. He talked about writing, dreams, fear, second chances, and the old notebook. People must have loved that story. They did. As he continued speaking, something changed. His nervousness slowly faded. The audience smiled. They listened carefully. Some nodded, some laughed at his jokes, some looked inspired. And suddenly, Daniel realized something. The audience wasn't against him. They wanted him to succeed. That's such an important realization. Most audiences aren't waiting for mistakes. They're hoping you'll do well. Exactly. When he finished, the room filled with applause, real applause, warm applause, the kind that comes from genuine appreciation. Wow, he did it! Yes, he did. And in that moment, Daniel felt something he hadn't felt in years. Pride. Not pride because he was perfect, pride because he was brave. Life lesson moment. Sometimes the thing you're afraid of becomes the thing you're most proud of. That's worth remembering. Absolutely. Fear often stands between us and growth. When we move through fear, we discover new possibilities. Cliffhanger for Part 5. After the event, many people came to speak with Daniel. Readers, writers, students. But one conversation stood out. A young woman approached him and said, "Your story changed something in my life." Oh, wow, that's huge. It was. And what she said next would bring the entire notebook story full circle. Okay, now we need part 5. Yes, because part 5 contains the emotional ending of Daniel's journey and the final lesson hidden inside the old notebook.